Hey everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review. And today's review is in association with MarvelousNews.com, your #1 news source for everything Marvel. And for today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new Marvel Legends 6-inch Gwenpool figure from Hasbro. Now this figure is part of the Lizard Build-A-Figure wave, and it comes packaged in the same style we see with all the Marvel Legends. You've got the black box up at the very top, you've got the Gwenpool logo, the big G in pink, and then you've got the Legends series logo. The figure is clearly displayed in the window box, and then down below you have the Gwenpool name, the unbelievable Gwenpool that is, and then off to the side you've got comic book art for the character, and then on the back you've got a look at the actual figure, a brief bio in multiple languages, and then down below a look at all the figures in the wave that you need to get in order to complete the Lizard Build-A-Figure. Alright, let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside the packaging along with all the other contents. Now first of all, this figure comes with the tail for the Lizard Build-A-Figure, and I'll be taking a look at the Lizard in its own review once we've looked at all the figures in this wave, so be sure to check back for that. Okay, now when it comes to accessories for the actual figure, first of all we get 3 different pairs of hands. So you get this pair of open grip hands, and these are for holding the smartphone that she comes with for taking selfie pictures, and then you get a pair of grip hands for holding the swords that she comes with, and then you get a pair of just open hands. The right hand is just a regular open hand, and then the left hand is kind of giving that peace symbol. And switching out the hands is easy. You just pop off the hand you want to replace. You got the little peg on the hand and the hole in the arm, and then you just pop in the hand you want to replace it with, and it should pop right in and fit nice and tight. The figure comes with a pair of swords, and the swords look exactly the same, and these are basically the same swords that we got with like the Deadpool figure recently, and just been repainted. The handles are repainted with a brownish type color, but it is the same sword. And then you've got the silver type plastic for the blades, and the blades are done with a fairly flexible plastic, though they do come out of the packaging fairly straight, so no real issue there. And as long as you have the proper grip hands on, she will hold the swords nice and tight. And then also there's a place on her backpack, this penguin backpack that she comes with, where you can stick the swords in, so she can store the swords on her back like you see in the comics and such. And this backpack is actually removable, this penguin backpack, so if you want to take it off you can. And this is pretty cool. You see her have it in the comic and everything, and the penguin itself is not removable from the straps, but if you want to take the straps off the figure you can. It is a separate piece. The figure comes with this smartphone, and this is not very well detailed. It's just a very thin black piece of plastic, and then you do have a little sculpting here with the button for the phone, but overall it's not a very detailed item, but it is supposed to be her smartphone that you can use for taking selfie pictures. And as long as you have those wider grip hands on the figure, she does hold the smartphone pretty good. And then finally the figure comes with 2 different head sculpts. Both are masked head sculpts. One basically has where her tongue is sticking out, and then the other one she's just smiling. That's really the only difference between the 2. And they're pretty nicely detailed. You've got the white mask with the little piece that sticks out here on the back like with Deadpool, and then she's got the pink eyes with the black borders and everything. So overall I would say both head sculpts look pretty good. And switching out the head sculpts is easy. You just pop off the one you want to replace, and then you just pop on the one you want to replace it with, and it should pop right on. Now, if you were looking for a substitute unmasked head sculpt, you can take the Gwen Stacy, the Spider-Gwen unmasked head that we got, and it will fit on this figure. So you do have to kind of push it in a little bit, but it will actually fit. Now, it's not a perfect likeness to Gwenpool, who's got the little bit shorter hair and has the pink highlights in her hair. But again, if you wanted a substitute unmasked head sculpt, I think this will work halfway decently. Okay, so for the figure itself, now if you're not familiar with Gwenpool, basically this character was originally created as a variant cover that was celebrating Spider-Gwen, the popularity of Spider-Gwen. And they had basically taken the Spider-Gwen costume and kind of mashed it up with other established Marvel Universe characters, and Deadpool happened to be one of those characters they did. And I guess she became so popular that people started dressing up as Gwenpool at conventions and stuff, and so the Marvel editors saw that and they figured, well, if she's so popular that people are dressing up as her and she doesn't even have a title, let's create a backstory for her and actually create her as a character, and that's how she basically came to be. So she has no real ties with Gwen Stacy or Deadpool. And apparently she's a fourth wall character. She broke the fourth wall, and what that means is that basically she's supposedly from the real world and she's entered the Marvel Universe, and she knows that the Marvel Universe is essentially just comic book characters, made up comic book characters, and so she has all this knowledge that she's accrued on all these characters in the Marvel Universe from reading Marvel comics, that she uses that to basically kind of defeat people and hone her skills and things like that. So that's really kind of her superpower, is that she knows the Marvel Universe is fake and has like everybody's secret identity, knows everybody's secret identity and things like that. So for the actual figure, this does seem to incorporate parts from other Marvel Legend figures. Like here you can see the upper arms are the same as Miss Marvel, and same with the upper legs. Now the lower legs are modified on this figure. She's got the tube socks on, and you've got the ridges sculpted on the tube socks, which is nice, and then she's got these shin guards with the straps that are actually sculpted, so that all looks really good. And then she's got the pink shoes with the laces, so pretty nice detailing with that. The rest of the legs are bare and pretty good skin tone overall. And then she's got this belt, which is a separate piece, and she's got the pink G as a belt buckle, and then they've used this kind of maroon reddish plastic. And I forgot to mention there is a pouch here on the belt that you can store the smartphone, so if she's not holding the smartphone, I like that they gave you a place to store that since it's so tiny. And then she has this belt around her midsection, which is actually a separate piece as well, so again, that's a separate piece, not sculpted on there. And then she's got the wrist guards, and she's got the backpack, which, as I mentioned before, is a separate piece that you can remove. And she's got this metallic silver here, and again, this portion looks very similar to Deadpool's costume, has the same kind of design and everything. But overall, I think they've done a good job of capturing the likeness of Gwenpool with this figure. My only minor complaint is I do have a little bit of pink bleeding through here on the white near the hinge joints, and I have that with both arms. Not a major deal, but that's probably my only minor gripe about the figure. One other area I should point out that I guess I would consider a minor complaint is you get some separation between the crotch and the leg here, and you can actually see that white peg between the leg and the crotch section there. Now that does get hidden somewhat by the belt and the pouches that come down, but you still kind of notice that when you're looking at, you know, from an angle, you kind of see that white peg there. So this figure stands, if you count to the top of her head, just a little bit over 5 3/4 inches tall. Now if you count to her sword tips, then she stands closer to 6.5 inches tall. Here's a comparison of Gwenpool with Hasbro's Marvel Legends Spider-Gwen and most recent Deadpool figure. And then finally, here's a comparison with a couple other characters that she's had interactions with since being in the Marvel Universe. So Miss Marvel here, she became friends with at She-Hulk's Christmas party in the Gwenpool Christmas special. And then Howard the Duck, she actually, I think, first appeared as a character in a backup story for Howard the Duck, where she initially tries to take him out. She basically felt like she could kill Howard because he's a comic book character and that he would just come back to life, so it wasn't a big deal killing him. But eventually, if I remember correctly, they end up teaming up and taking on the Black Cat. So for articulation, you can turn the head to the left and to the right, and the head's on a ball hinge joint, so she can look down really good and she can look up really good as well. She's got pretty good head movement. Now the head joint is a little bit loose, definitely kind of fits a little bit loose on there, but you can pivot to the left and the right. Arms attached with your standard ball hinge joint there at the shoulder, so she can get her arm out good. She's got rotation there at the shoulder, only has the single hinged elbow like we always see with Marvel Legend, female Marvel Legend figures. Has the rotation at the elbow, rotation at the hands, hinges on the hands, so up and down movement. She has a midsection joint, so she's got rotation there. She can pivot to the left and the right a little bit. Really can't crunch down though, and can look back a little bit. Does not have a waist swivel, can only do the splits about that much. She can get her leg forward about that much, and then really can't do her leg back very much either. She does have a thigh swivel. She has a double hinge knee, so good bending there at the knee, and then she has hinges on the feet, so up and down movement. She has rotation. You can actually rotate there at that joint, and then she does have ankle pivot as well, and 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Okay, so that's my review. So overall, I think this is a pretty solid figure, and if you're a fan of the Gwenpool character, you'll probably want to check this one out. Now, if you missed it yesterday, we saw official images for the upcoming Mafex Gwenpool figure from MediaCom. Now, that's an import figure. It does have a few more accessories, like an unmasked head over what we see with the Marvel Legend figure, and that one definitely looks pretty good, but the big disadvantage to that one over, say, this one, I would say, is likely going to be the price tag. This one will cost you $20, and that one will cost you significantly more. But again, you know, there are multiple choices out there for Gwenpool, but if you want an affordable, decent looking figure, I think this is the way to go. Now, this figure, along with the rest of the wave, has started to hit overseas and should start hitting shelves here in the United States by end of February, early March. Possibly earlier, but I've been told those are the release dates for this wave here in the United States. We'll have a full image gallery up at marvelousnews.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. As always, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. Also, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. You can also follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I have links to those in the video description as well. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.